Yo guys, welcome back. Today we're going to discuss Enzo and his perfect support turret duration, something that many started to notice recently when the meta void erosion setup became Enzo and Lepic with 2 DPS, but has become even more noticeable with Glay thrown into the mix. As far as what is truly causing the different durations, we're not sure. It seems to be some internal duration that we can't see, but we have set up a build specifically for running with Lepic and Glay that will help a lot of Enzo players know when to recast perfect support. This setup will be specific to this group, and I will also show another build more suitable for running public queue and not knowing what you're going to get. First, let's showcase the problem and the solution. So in this first clip, you will see that although me and this Glay are running the same amount of duration, including mods and Reactor, for some reason her drone will last much longer than my Enzo, and the same can be said for Lepic. So the problem here is that I now have my drone off cooldown, and if I cast it again while Glay's drone is still up, she will not get a refresh to her drone. Hers will simply end and she will no longer be buffed. Now, you could simply say, okay, I'll just watch the Glay and the Lepic to see when their drone duration is done, but there is definitely an easier way, and that sounds like a real pain in the ass. We will simply be dropping some of our cooldown to match with the duration of Glay and Lepic. This way, as an Enzo player, I don't have to worry about keeping my eyes on other players' turrets. You will simply know that when your perfect support is off cooldown, it is safe to recast. So let's get into the builds, and the first one is going to be for the pre-made setup. So this is specifically for running with a Lepic and 2 Glays. We are running supply firearm enhancer. Now remember, as an Enzo, you only need to give this to your Glade once because they keep this until they reload, and if they are playing Glay correctly, they are not reloading. Now we are running Battle of Stamina with increased HP, so we are decently tanky with this. We are having maximized duration with skill extension, MP conversion, and nimble fingers. So as you can see, we have dropped 2 focus mods, and that is going to put our cooldown long enough to last with the duration of the Glaze turret. So that's at 23.9 seconds. So around 24 seconds is what you are looking for. Other than that, we're running Shot Focus and Passionate Sponsor to buff up our guns a little bit. Maximize Conservation is a bit of a flex slot. We tried a few things, and this definitely felt the most comfortable. You really don't have to worry about running out of MP, and you most certainly do not want to run out of MP. And Heat Release for just a bit more survivability. Now, not too much has changed here. For our public queue build, of course, we are still running Supply Firearm Enhancer. We have Battle of Stamina with increased HP, our 2 duration mods, Shot Focus, Passionate Sponsor, MP Conversion, Nimble Fingers, and Maximize Conservation. What we have done here is we have dropped Heat Release for a Focus On mod. So this is going to bring us to a perfect setup for where our turret on ourselves goes down and it comes back up. And it should be pretty much like that if you're running with a Haley, another common Descendant that you will see in here. And yes, although the duration says 15.1 and the cooldown says 18.4, I have taken this out into the battlefield and it does match up. By the time the turret explodes, my cooldown is back. Now, as far as the rest of the build, everything's going to be the same, whether you're public queuing or pre-mating. For your Reactor, you're going to want cooldown with duration up. Do not worry about your skill, power, or your mounting. Your main concern here is get as much cooldown and as much duration as you can. As far as your set, you're going to go with a 2-piece Hunter and a 2-piece Annihilation. Make sure you're getting MP on your stats. So for your auxiliary power, you want MP recovery out of combat. For your sensor, max MP and MP recovery in combat. For your memory, MP recovery modifier in defense. And for your processor, max shield is pretty much all you're really worried about. Now, as far as your guns, for the mobs, you will be using Smithereens, and this is how I have mine set up currently. So for our cores, we have firearm critical hit damage, firearm attack, bonus firearm attack versus Legion of Darkness. And for our substats, chill attack, bonus firearm attack versus Legion of Darkness, firearm attack, and critical hit damage. And as far as our mods, we are just running a chill setup. We are not building into weak point. Do not build into weak point when you're building this for mobbing. You will not be hitting that many headshots, even though we do still keep real life fighter on here. It's just because there's really nothing else to replace it with. And make sure you have your chill damage mods as well. And expand weapon charge is super great, so you can just spam without having to worry about reloading. Now, when it comes to bossing, we're going to want to use the Executor, and you're going to want to make sure at some point on your way to the boss, you're going to pull this out and reload it. That is very important. You do not want to get to the boss and pull this out and the boss is standing there, and you're going to have 3 shots in your mag, so make sure you reload this gun on your way. And as far as the stats, we're doing critical hit damage and firearm attack with bonus firearm attack versus Legion of Darkness for our cores. For our substats, chill attack, firearm critical hit damage, firearm attack, and bonus firearm attack versus Legion of Darkness. And as far as this one, we will be building in the weak point because Greg is pretty easy to hit into the head. So we have dropped the expand weapon charge and the chill priority like we've seen on Smithereens, and now we're using targeted vulnerability with weak point sight. And be sure to also have your Voltia. I will quickly just scroll through my substats here. It is not overly important. You're basically just whipping this out for a second, shooting for a couple seconds, and these shields drop. But I did build a build specifically for stage 30, built in for chill, just because I have OCD and I felt like I needed to. Now for our Inversion Reinforcement, of course, we have our chill focus rounds. I'm using selective neurostimulation and adrenaline rush just for some movement speed boost in between the packs of mobs. And that covers everything for Enzo Void Erosion builds. Hopefully that helps some of you with the duration problem. Hope you guys enjoy the builds. Any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe is appreciated. Thanks, guys. Peace.